Hello, fellow translators. Today's topic of discussion is something that actually I thought I'd covered before just because I've mentioned it here and there, but I haven't done a video for it precisely, and it deserves its own video, so I'm going to do that right now. And this is about low-paying jobs. And the reason I want to do this is because I still see this all the time. I still get asked this question, and people still tell me that they want to accept low-paying jobs. They feel that that's their only choice, or that's their way of getting ahead, or something along those lines. And so I kind of wanted to address this and address the fact that you should not be accepting low-paying jobs, and sort of get into the reasons why. I'm going to get into one bad reason why, and then later two good reasons why. And you'll see the reason for all of that in a moment. The crux of the matter is that when you are out there and saying, I'm available for this translation or that translation, and I can translate your documents, you can choose what price you want to quote. I charge this much per word, this much per word, this much per word. And a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they feel like they need to charge a low price per word because that's the only way they can stay competitive. And then they start thinking, well, if I want to be even more competitive, I should charge an even lower price. And then they get really, really low. And I'm talking about like 1 or 2 cents a word. Like it can get really low. And this is bad for quite a few reasons, which I'll get into. First of all, obviously, it's pretty much unsustainable. But the bad reason for this, the reason I mention this first is that this is the reason you'll hear quite often. And every time I go to these American Translator Association meetings or these conferences with other translators, this is the main reason they bring up. And they'll say, look, we're all professionals here, and what we do is worth quite a bit. And so the fact that we are knowledge workers and we charge a certain amount for our services means that it's worth that much. And every time you charge a very little amount, you bring down the value for all of us. And you make what we do worth a lot less just by virtue of doing that. So you should stop doing that, because otherwise it damages the industry as a whole and really damages everyone else. Now, this is all true. It's 100% true. I 100% agree with everything that was said there. However, I do have an issue with it because it's unfair to the person who's first starting out. If you're first starting out as a freelance translator, you're like, well, then how do I get started? That's fine for you to say. You have established, regular clients, you have a high price you charge them, and, you have everything going for you. But I'm just starting out. I need to get my first clients now. And so you're telling me, okay, don't do this because it damages everyone else in the industry, but I need to look out for myself. I need to, put food on the table. I need to figure out how to start earning a living. And that's why I think it's kind of a bogus argument, because while it's true, it's asking you to be altruistic to everyone else, but at no point is everyone else going to be altruistic to you, because this is the way the business works, right? People will help you out, but no one's going to try to take money away from you. Or no one's here. They are trying to take money away from you. Sorry. They're trying to take food off your table by saying, don't accept these jobs that pay so little because we want to keep our jobs. If you see what I mean, right? They say it in a nicer way. And once again, what they say is true, but I don't like the way that it's said, because I feel like it's really kind of discriminating against the people who are first starting out. And so that's the reasoning against it, but I think is a kind of a bad reason. But here's some good reasons for not doing it, because I still think you should not be charging a low amount, a small amount, and some of these really low amounts that you see, and because I think it's bad for you. Now, the first reason is that you are going to be pigeonholed, right? And if you're pigeonholed, it means that if you find a client and you say, I'm going to do this for very little, for 2 cents a word, then that's it. From then on out, you are doing that job for 2 cents a word. And you're doing all their jobs for 2 cents a word, because good luck trying to raise your price later. Good luck later coming back to them and saying, oh, now that I've gotten things going, this is going to be my new price, because they're not going to do business with you anymore. They've put you down there. And trust me, I've seen this. Quite a few agencies have this, where they'll take their translators and they sort of rank them. Some are the expensive translators, some are the medium translators, some are the cheap translators. Literally, they classify them this way. And if they classify you as one of the cheap translators, they're not going to push you up to the medium or expensive translators, because those mean very different things to the agencies when they're handing out their stuff. And another thing is, these agencies, once you've been in the business for a while, you'll see they're so intertwined. And anyone who's worked as a PM in an agency can attest to this. But they not only do PMs move from agency to agency, agencies merge and demerge all the time, and there's so much cross business stuff here, cross-functional stuff with them, but they also, talk to each other all the time, and there's so much communication between them. And you see this all the time. I'll be talking to a PM and she's with one agency, and then the next time I chat with her, she's in another agency. I've dealt with quite a few people who've moved agencies more than once, and they carry me along as a translator, as a client, from their old agency to their new, and I'm still working on their old agency and stuff like that. So any information, so if you're there as a cheap translator, suddenly you'll get spread out to all these other agencies as a cheap translator. And once again, good luck trying to rise yourself above in the rankings and trying to become a more expensive translator or one that's better paid, because you'll have pigeonholed yourself. So it can be really dangerous to pigeonhole yourself like that and to start charging a low price, and you're basically stuck there. So yeah, that's another reason why you shouldn't do it. But another reason I've heard, and because I've heard agencies say this, and in fact, an argument that was giving an agency, not to me, but to another translator that I work with, was that they said, okay, we know you charge X amount. Let's say it's 8 cents a word. We know you charge 8 cents a word. We're ready to pay you 4 cents a word, but you don't need to do that good of a job. You can only spend half the amount of time doing your work and then send it to us, and that's fine with us. So the translator was even thinking, she was like, okay, I could do this, and it only takes me half the amount of time. So basically, it only takes me, say, instead of a full day, it takes me half a day. So with the rest of the half day, I could work on other stuff. Like I could find another client and do the same thing. So in the end, I earn the same amount, because instead of a full day, let's say at 8 cents a word, I would earn, I don't know, let's say it's $100. I'm just making up the numbers. But if it only takes me half amount for half the price, then that's $50, but for half a day. And then I find another client like that, it'll be another $50 for that other half day. It works out the same, $100 per day, no matter which one you do. There's a big problem with this. Hopefully you didn't get too confused by my example. One, you have one client who pays you well, you get $100 a day. Another one, you have two clients who don't pay you well and you get $100 a day. You think, okay, it's the same thing. There's one big problem with this. You have to find those extra clients. And for all of you who've been, especially when you're first starting out, but well, also for all of you who are in the industry in general, it can, in fact, it usually takes a lot longer to find a client than it does to actually work on the job that the client gives you. And so just by virtue of the fact that you have to find a new client every time you need a job that pays a lot less, you're going to have to find double the number of clients, and that'll take up a lot more time than the translation will. And this can be a really big trap to fall into as well, because you can think logically, okay, I get paid half as much, but it takes me half as long, so it's okay. But the fact that you're going to have to keep doing sales and marketing and trying to get new clients that much more often can be a really bad point as well. And it can, it just makes it unsustainable, quite frankly. So yeah, hopefully these kind of helped you out and showed you why you shouldn't you shouldn't be charging too little, and you shouldn't be pigeonholing yourself. And I get more into detail. I know I've done this in other videos and definitely in my course, but one of the pieces of advice that I give a lot of people is just to do a job or two for free. And when you're first starting out, as long as the job's not too long, say, okay, I'll do it for free. And this has a couple advantages, because A, they're not going to put you into the cheap section. They're not going to put you in a free section. There is no free section, but they're not going to pigeonhole you into the cheap section either. Everyone knows that free isn't your rate, but you can explain, I'm doing this to get my first ratings, to get my first reviews. If you're happy with the translation, which you're getting for free, then all I ask in return is that you leave me a good review, and that's it. And, that can work. Most people don't say no to a free translation, so why not? And you do this a couple times and it can start getting you traction, because you get your first ratings and reviews. So that's usually my advice. I really think charging a low rate is just bad business overall for everyone involved. And so yeah, those are just my 2 cents. I thought this deserved a video where I talk more about the rates and how they should be treated, and what I think you should be doing with your rates when you're charging them to prospective clients. That's pretty much it, however. And okay, while I'm here, I also want to mention once again, since I don't mention it that often, if you are interested in my course or any of the other courses, check out the link to Skillshare. You can go there and you get 2 free weeks. There you pay a monthly amount and you get access to all the courses. So there are 2 free months With these 2 free months, you can access all the courses you want on Skillshare. And then when the 2 months are up, you just cancel it, and then you don't have to pay anything. And so it seems like a good deal for you if you are interested in taking these online courses. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.